Hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker, and today what we're going to be talking about is a tyre that I have been asked about many times since I revealed I use it on the lovely bike behind me. That is the Bridgestone Battlax Hypersport S22, or Bridgestone S22 for short, because no one says the other words really unless they're selling something for Bridgestone. Probably, I'm also making that up. So the profiles on this particular bike are 120 on the front, 190 on the back, but you can also fit a 180 on the Suzuki. And to be honest, looking through Bridgestone's website, they share a lot of common features anyway. So one thing to call out is these do have a softer compound on the outer edges and a harder compound in the middle. Confusingly, on Bridgestone's website, it does say it's a 3-compound system, which I assume it means like a 3-layer system, but then it goes on to say dual compound, harder in the middle, softer on the outside. Now, unless it, there's a gradation there that it's hard, slightly softer, softest, possibly. Either way, what that means is good long life in the middle, nice and grippy on the outside, and they do say that their tyre grips all the way to the very edge. Now, as a bit of background, if you're new to the channel, where have I used these tyres? I have used this particular set for about 1,500 miles, or what's that, just about above 2,000 kilometers on the road, and I've also done 2 track days on them, I believe. I think it was 2 track days altogether. I'll double check that and put it on the screen if I'm wrong. Well, they've done several track days. I think it was 2. So I have a good estimation of how the tyres perform, both in nice, warm, clean, dry weather, wet weather. It hailstoned on me and Aidan once when we were out on our bikes and I had these on, and also the track. I've also crashed on these tyres, so I have, in a way, tested them to their limits. So there's a bit to get through in this video. Other than that then, the Bridgestone S22s are, as far as I remember, came out in 2019. I'm pretty certain it's 2019, replacing the S21s, and they did have certain improvements. It was 5% faster on corners and stuff like that. So that was mainly down to track riders. These are very much a tyre aimed at a sportier road rider and someone who does the occasional track day. They're not all out track tyres. There are different Bridgestone tyres available for that, among many other brands, but for me they're a fast road user, or a sporty road user, we'll say, not fast, and an occasional track day human. So if you'd like to hear more about what I thought of these tyres, stick around and I'll tell you. So first what I'm going to run through really quickly is the grip and braking in wet and the grip and braking in dry, not particularly in that order, because I feel like that's the most important, what most of you want to know. Most people who buy these S22s are probably going to use them in the dry, so we'll get to that first. Grip is, honestly, it's excellent. I cannot fault these tyres. 5 out of 5 in the dry. They're brilliant. I had so much confidence in this bike when I first put them out in the road. They scrub in quick, they heat up quick. I'll tell you a bit about that later. But overall, these tyres have been fantastic on the road. Price comes into play a little bit there, and we'll talk about that, because obviously longevity-wise, they're not amazing. That center core of them does help a little bit, but I mean, they're not designed to last very long. But grip in the dry on all forms of corners that I have used them, they've just been, they've been perfect. There's literally nothing I can take away from them. They grip everywhere. The feedback is the word I'm trying to get to. The feedback from the tyre is absolutely brilliant. You can really feel what the bike is doing in corners and stuff. And obviously then that feel, which is important, that feedback, that is the thing that's giving you the confidence in the tyres. They back that up the whole way, because you don't want a tyre like a banker who's like, nah, we got your money safe, and then the next day you wake up and it's all gone, because that would be bad. These particular tyres, the feel is there, and they just tell you the whole way through, except for on the track, but we'll get to that. On the road, they're perfect, and to be honest, on the track they were also perfect, but I'm going to talk about track grip separately. Then grip and feel and braking in the wet. Not bad, not great, but not bad. Kind of everything I benchmark against is I benchmark off the Metzeler Roadtech 01s, because they are the best tyres I have ever used in the wet. They're phenomenal, but these aren't bad. So if we say the Roadtechs are a 5 out of 5, I'd give these like 3.5 out of 5, maybe. Not that they're bad, just that they definitely, they heat up quite quick, but they also seem to cool off quite quick. The one time I was out in particularly bad weather with them, and was on my own, I was going quite slowly, so the tires did lose heat, definitely, because it was heavyish rain, but the back did get a little bit skittish. Now, is that because of the 190? It's huge, so, you know, maybe it just wasn't capable of coping with the water. You'd think that contact patch being bigger might be better, but actually as more water gets in, a narrower tire will cut through water better a lot of the time, so maybe the 190 wasn't helping it. I was referring purely to the S22s here. Obviously a lot more goes into tire grip in rain than the width, but if you have two tires of equal compound and equal sipes and all that stuff designed for rain, water dissipation and whatever else, obviously a narrower S22 would handle rain a little bit better. But basically, purely on the basis of an S22, of course, a 190 profile tire designed purely for rain would perform better than a 120 tire designed for all weathers. Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify that. But it did get a little bit skittish in rain, so if rain is something that you ride in a lot on purpose, definitely go for something more like the Roadtech 01 or the Road Pilot 5s, which everyone always tells me on these reviews are the best tires I've ever used. So off other people's recommendation, I recommend them. I didn't use them long enough myself to say that, but the Roadtech 01s are brilliant. Highly recommend them if you ride intentionally in the rain a lot. If you mostly aim to ride in dry weather and do occasionally get caught in wet weather, these are absolutely fine. The grip is there, you just got to slow down, you got to feel it out a little bit more. You just can't ride as aggressively as you can with the Roadtech 01s, if that makes sense. But these tires are still capable in the wet, you just have to be careful. Braking is actually a little bit different, and because of that feel and stuff, I have found that these tires are actually quite good in the wet, because you can really feel where they're kind of like, they get a little bit squirrely. You know what I mean, if you've ever felt it. You know, nice and smooth progressive braking in the wet, obviously, but as you do that, you can kind of feel where the tire's starting to give out and saying, whoa, no more please. So the feedback being there and stuff, and obviously they do brake reasonably fast in the wet, same as all tires. No tire is amazing in the wet except my wets, which are over there, my wet track tires. They're right there. They're looking at me and like, don't lie, we're amazing. They are amazing in the wet, and they're ancient. But that's not the point. These are road tires, and they're effective. So, you know, feel and braking in the wet, I'd give them a 4 out of 5. Again, they're just that step down from the Roadtech 01s. But again, completely adequate. So if you're getting a tire that you want to use for sporty road riding, mainly in the dry, but is capable of getting you home and not an absolute block of ice in the wet, these are fine. Bridgestone have done an amazing job. And I do feel that possibly the reason they get a little bit skittish in the wet is because of that hard compound in the middle. It is quite hard. You actually can see the band of it in the middle after the track day where the compound separates. So possibly it's just that. Maybe that cools down or just doesn't get heat into it in the wet. And that's maybe why it's not as good. I feel like we have to talk about the track. Yes, I crashed the bike on the track with these tires on. But I was torturing them. When I watched back a video from Chris, who was behind me when I crashed, I was leaving black lines on the track, so I was pushing them to kind of where their limit was. Now, I looked back on my times, and the best time I've ever done with track tires, with tire warmers and everything else, which are a completely different ball game to road tires, by the way, completely different ball game. It's just night and day. One is designed for that abuse, one is not really. The best time I did was a 209 on the track tires, which was after I had to get my confidence back and all that stuff. I wasn't actually far off that on those tires. I think I did a 213 or something when I looked back on it before I crashed. So they're well capable of doing a track day. And also, I actually looked this up. From the European male average weight, I am 1.8 times heavier than the average European male. So if you're around 70 kg, you're average, well done you. These tires were coping with a lot more than they would with the normal person. So I think really and truly, the fact that, and it says a lot, the fact that they've thrown them onto the new Hayabusa rocks S22s, but they're well capable of you know, hanging with other bikes on track days. They were more than my skill level at the time. I just didn't know my skill level at the time, so I went past it. But those tires, the whole day, they were amazing, and I did crash towards the middle of the day, so they'd already done 4 sessions out on the track the day I crashed. and they did go back on track afterwards and did completely fine the next day back as well. So I have read online that these will, some guys say they did 8 track days on them while also riding on the road. Okay, I did 2.5 actually, that's what it was 2.5. And I had, the rear tire was pretty much cooked on the outside. So there's still meat left on that tire for the road, but definitely I'll probably change it early because I did wear them down a lot more, and heat cycles and all that on the track. But for track use, would I recommend these? Absolutely. I would happily throw another pair back on if I didn't want to try something different. If I was just happy to stick with these and not make reviews for everyone on the internet, I would definitely stick on another set of S22s. Then we have to talk about the price. What I paid for these to hand the wheels into my local motorcycle shop in Kilkenny was €320, 330 euro fitted. So I think he charged me a £5 per wheel, because if you look up these online, it's 180 for the back wheel and 130 for the front wheel. What I can find easily in Ireland. Not the cheapest tires, but to be honest, I do think they're worth it. You can obviously find different prices in different places, and if you drop your bike in, expect to be charged at least 20 euro per wheel to fit those tires, maybe 15 per wheel to fit those tires. But all in all, you know, you're looking at 320 to 350 euro, I would say, for a set of these, and they're probably going to last you, from everything I can find online and from my own experience, 3,500 kilometers for a rear tire anyway, and fronts range from 5,000 all the way up to someone you said they used theirs for 10,000. But I do think that depends on the type of rider you are and are you using them on track or not. I think if I was to do one more track day on these, I would definitely have to change the rear tire, and I would change the front one with it, because they were wearing quite heavily on me. But again, 1.8 times the average European male weight, that does come into play. But overall, wear is very, very even across them, even with the track use in there. So very, very happy with how they wear and the length of their life for what I was using them for. But it does come down to your use. I would imagine if someone gets an S22, they probably want to do a track day or are a bit sportier on the road. So you're probably going to eat them up. Rear, give it 3,500 kilometers. That's from my experience and from other people I've talked to who have this tire. What I will say is a little bit of a personal aside. You know, I've used these. The Gixxer is a 100% a fun bike for me, whether it be track day or on the road. But from the track to wetter roads to nice twisty roads near me, and just even spinning out to Kells, which is only 20 minutes away, these tires have never once knocked my confidence in them. Even after I crashed in them, I don't think it was the tire's fault, personally. If you watch back those videos, you'll figure out what we all concluded was the issue. You can watch that if you want, I'll leave a link there. But for me, these have always given me great confidence. They really are a good tire. Obviously, Bridgestone don't sponsor me or anything, but I do highly recommend them if you're someone who's looking for like a sporty track day tire. Really happy with them overall. Just to be aware, as I said, of that little bit of skittishness in wet weather. As always, just to try teach people stuff that I found out probably too late in life. The tire age on these is denoted by a 4-digit marker, which you'll see in B-roll on the screen right now. My rear tire, for instance, is 2420, which is the 24th week in 2020. Do check your tires as they're getting fitted, especially if you're going for an older model, but S22s are only released in 2019, I think, again. So really and truly, you're probably pretty much guaranteed that you're getting a good tire if you're buying an S22, provided the tire has been stored correctly. Tires can be stored on the shelf for like up to 7 years if they're stored correctly, whereas if someone stores them incorrectly, which like, you know, somewhere that's too hot or too cold, or on their sides or whatever else, it's quite possible that tire will go off a hell of a lot quicker. Buy from a reputable person. You know, obviously I'm not going to tell them to get them fitted somewhere. Get them, you know, if you can fit tires, more power to you. Fit the tires yourself, but do buy from somewhere that you trust has stored your tires the right way. Other things then, the rear tire is a 73W, which, as far as I remember, is a 365 kg load bearing weight and 270 kilometers an hour. The front was a 58W, I think. 58 being like 220 20 kilos or something like that, and then again the W being 270 kilometers an hour. The only way this bike would reach 270 kilometers an hour is if you hung it off a plane and swooped it through the air, because I know where it tops out and it's not 270, especially with the gearing I have on it currently. It's like 210, 220, and even stock it's 240-ish. Don't ask me how I know that. But basically these tires are more than enough to handle anything that you'll throw at this bike speed-wise or probably weight-wise. Just don't carry a fridge on it. Not sure where you'd fit it anyway, but don't. So that's it. To summarize, the Bridgestone Battlax Hypersport S22s are a fantastic tire. These are the S22R. I'm not sure does that make a difference. I think S22s are S22s, but just in case. I have found them to be an excellent tire. Yes, they were expensive, but I think they did their job very, very well. They're perfect in the dry. Literally nothing I can take away from them in the dry. And like I said, they can be a little bit skittish if they're too cold in the wet. But these tires do heat up very, 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 very quickly. I have actually just in winter this bike, I've brought it up and down the road just to keep it going. And when I get back and check those tires, they have actually already heated up. So provided that it's not raining a lot like it was for me the day, I do think you'll be able to keep heat in these tires and use them absolutely fine. Not something that I would be overly concerned about is if you were buying this tire. Like I said, then also the price is on the higher side, but you know, it's fine, it's fine. They really are a good tire, and they have a decent range for what is a sport and track tire, a sporty road rider and track tire. But yeah, alternatives, what I'm going to try next is the Mitre Sport Force, there's a digits after it, ES, Sport Force Plus ES. That's what I'll be trying on the Suzuki next. That's why there's not another set of S22s going on there. And I do hope to get those Sport Force Plus ESs out on a track day as well to see how they perform, because they are noticeably cheaper than these tires. So I'm going to give them a good test and let you all know how it goes, and hopefully not crash the Gixxer again while I test them, because that would suck. Anyway, if you have watched, thank you very much for watching. If you have any question on these tires or anything to do with them, please let me know in the comments. Or if you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comments. I do love hearing from you all. And yeah, as always, a very special thank you to all of my patrons. One patron was actually asking about these tires several times. I am sorry it took me so long to get to them. My bad. Just, you know, things happen. Anyway, you're all legends, and I am sorry it took me so long to make this video. And yeah, until next time, thank you very much for watching. Adios. Outro crew. Outro crew. Outro crew. Outro. What's Russian again? I love vodka. Outro crew. That's how I do the voices. I have to remember the line I'm going to say. Tell me, what is your favorite tire you have ever used on the road and on track if you do the two types of riding? If you don't do the two types of riding, then I don't know. Leave me funny emoji in the comments. Goodbye.